Okay, guys, so we're gonna go over the Mortal Kombat 11 tier list. I won't be looking at chat much, so for this one, why are you here, Quantico? Nobody likes you. I'm not gonna use you. Okay, so we'll start with the S tiers, and actually, I do think this game is still rated by A plus, so I'm going to add something. Oh, sorry. I'm going to. There we go. Oh, no, I want to add something in between. Uh, Let me see if I can add a list. Yeah, add row above. There we go. We're gonna do this one A plus. We'll change, make the color. I don't know, blue. Everybody likes a little bit of blue. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so right now, I currently think that um, as the best character in the game right now in S tier, I want to say that it is Liu Kang. The reason why Liu Kang is the best character in the game right now is for many reasons, right? He has a 9 frame mid, he has solid pressure, he has safe auto shimmies that are also plus, his damage output is really high if he gets going, his zoning is really high when he gets going, he has a throw loop, and not only does he have a throw loop, he has crushing blows on both of his throws on top of his throw loop. His stagger game is really powerful, and just all around, he's just a fucking nuisance. He has godlike anti-airs, godlike damage, godlike crushing blow requirements, a parry to top all of that off. It's like the only weakness this character has is that he has some whiffing issues, but like it's not even that bad to be honest. Like all his other shit is just so overwhelming. He's I wouldn't say he's broken, but like he just there's no way that nobody plays the game better than him, right? He's pretty fucking powerful. In my opinion, I think he's the best character in the game. Then we have Centurion. I don't think she's the second best, but I definitely think she's S tier. Um, it's just that like for the way the game's been progressing and for the meta of the game, her matchups have started to become really like one-sided now, especially with how people are discovering how to fight Cetrion. Her teleport game is still pretty much intact. Her fireball game didn't really get touched. Her damage output is still really strong. Um, she's just overall still a really fucking strong character, right? It's really fucking cheap, right? Um, I want to put Jax as an S tier character. He didn't get buffed. Yeah, in fact, he never got touched. His set play is actually overwhelming. The fact that no matter where your life lead is, if this character touches you, the game could actually just end. He actually set plays you very, very dangerously when he gets going. He has really fast buttons, a 9 frame mid to top it all off so you can stop people from mashing. His command grab can do up to half your life, depending on how heated he is. And you actually just keep guessing for your life. He has a safe down one special mind game, and he can one of the few characters that can keep throw looping you left and right. And on top of that, he has an insanely fast projectile. He's really, really cheap in that fucking regard. Can be really obnoxious. And then I have Sonya at the very end. She's pretty much the exact same fucking character, except she can't meter burn her anti-air. That's it. But the damage output is literally the same. It's like actually just the same. All they did was fucking like tap her wrist, and the fucking down one buff, actually down three buffs changed highs to jail is so powerful for her. She became really prominent and strong because of that. I think it's really really good. But let me just look what the chat's saying right now. Right? So she's still top five, like free, like it's just easy, right? Um, and then where do we have? What do we have? We have Scarlet. I think she's also one of the top five. They buffed her. Not only did they buff her and make her even more safer on things, I already believed this character was S tier pre-patch, and then they just buffed her, and I was like, okay, so now she's Omega S tier. Nice. Okay. She has throw crushing blows on both of her throws. Her 1-2 stagger is very strong. They made her back three into straight shot jail. They made the pushback much safer on it as well. They made her sweep safer. They made it so it's spaced out as well. Her zoning game is really good. She can cover all your wake ups on knockdowns. Like Her blood drive is the superior version. Her teleport one is good, don't get me wrong, but the blood drive, like, her pressure becomes dumb, like actually legitimately broken. And trance in neutral is also really fucking dumb because you cannot react to it. And then she can cover all your wake ups on set with set play. She can literally cover every single wake up on knockdown by doing 2-on-2, 2-on-2, 4 EX slow blood ball. There's not a single character that can wake up against that, which means she gets free pressure. You take her shit on wake up. You roll back, you get punished. You roll forward, you get punished. You wake up, you get punished. It doesn't matter. You cannot stop her, and then she gets to punish you. So, and then I want to say that is the last of AVFDS tiers. It could be Garris at the end of this, but I think his tools are very apparent, especially since his mix-up game is gone. I do think the higher damage is very powerful for him, but I don't think it's S tier enough, especially with the crushing blows not being as obnoxious anymore. Granted, they are different and you can combo into them. It's very unlikely at high level that people will just let you get them. He has to be really creative and really smart in neutral. And he has to play a lot more fair. Like, he plays a lot more fair, in my opinion, which is why I think he's a lot more manageable. I think his throw loop game is like what makes him strong, but I think Jax is a lot better at doing it. So I think I'm gonna put him here because when Garris gets going, it's not that scary. But when a character like Jax gets going, who plays pretty much the exact same game plan as him, minus low sand trap, which don't get me wrong, low sand trap is still phenomenal, still a phenomenal move. I don't think he's S tier enough for it to still be like, as OD. If the crushing blow requirements were the same, yeah, he would still absolutely. I do think with the new tech that people have been finding with charging his combos charging his fist mid combo is really good, and then the buff to New Era is also really good. So if anything, I think New Era could potentially be S tier. It could potentially, but for now, I'm gonna put him at A plus because I think he has to play a lot more fair. He plays a lot more fair version of Mortal Kombat 11, in my opinion. I think the character is really dumb. And then we're gonna put Noob Saibot here, right? Noob Saibot seeing double variation is actually just fucking bullshit. Like, straight up. So he still has his throw crushing blows on both his throws. He still has his auto shimmy. But now, his 4-2-2, which is more of a useless, not useless, but it wasn't as useful in the other variation versus as useful as it is in his first variation. Now, this move gives him like multiple different mind games that he doesn't used to have before. Getting hit by it is 25% guaranteed damage, and now he gets access to his shadow crushing blow much easier because his low EX shadow is safe and spaces the opponent out. So all of his footsie tools are now safe. His back one can now be safe. If you get hit by it, you get launched, and it sets up and does massive amount of damage. Like, back one EX low shadow, and not only is it safe, if you get hit by it, you're taking 20% of guaranteed damage. You cannot stop it, right? And then the more and more he adds up his fucking crushing blows, like, he can just start doing shit like 1-1-3 shadow when he has a shadow clone ready, and when that's ready, like, you lose 37% of unbreakable damage. Or 4-2-2-1 shadow, you lose like 37% of unbreakable damage. He's a very strong character in both his variations. I personally think his seeing double variation is the superior variation. Even though you do slightly less damage mid-screen, in the corner the damage output is practically the same, and you get different launchers, and you'll build up your shadow counter much higher and much more quickly in this variation as well. And I think he's an incredibly strong character because of that. And then we have Jackie. Jackie literally got a tap on the wrist. This, like I said, A plus is not ordered. This is not ordered. This is just where I believe it is in A plus. Jackie is she just literally just got damage nerfed and like slight frame changes, and that's it. And it was like a change on like one of her fucking Oki tools, which is like the double knees. It's still godlike in the corner, but mid screen you give up pressure just for the crushing blow. But like, I believe that was how it should have always been. And I'm happy they made it that way. That means if you want to go for Oki, you can get a little bit less damage by doing the elbow. But if you want to get your crushing blow ready, you kind of let them go back to neutral. But like, now, if you hit them again, they're gonna fucking explode. And they still do explode. Like, the damage difference, even though she got damage, it's literally only like 3%. She's literally like the same fucking character. She's literally the same. It doesn't matter. And then we have Cabal. I think he's still. He's literally like nothing changed about him, and I think he's in a really good spot. I think he's a really solid character. I think he's still really, really fucking good. This is still really, really strong. Really, really strong. I want to say, mind you, there doesn't be a lot of characters on A plus. By the way, I think this patch made 80% of the cast A plus, in my opinion. So we're gonna put I'm gonna put Cassie here. She did get nerfed. I don't think she's the best character in the game anymore. I don't think she's S tier either. But she's still very strong at controlling neutral. And her game plan is generally intact. And so for characters that only have an 8-frame punish, her auto shimmy is still very dangerous, and her throw loop game is very dangerous, and her neutral control is still very dangerous. It's just that the 9-frame mid being -3 now kind of sucks. Not being able to use glow kick actually ever also kind of fucking sucks. So she has to play a little bit more honest, but you can just still play that honest game and be very, very potent with her. It's not my type of game plan that I want to play with her anymore, which is why I dropped her. I like playing characters that can like grab and loop you safely and go ham. Oh, sorry. If I were to add one more character to S tier, by the way, it would be Nightwolf. And Nightwolf isn't here. Okay, they don't have a picture of him. I'm like plus Nightwolf. Okay, so including Nightwolf. Gotcha. Okay, so I think Nightwolf is if Liu Kang doesn't end up being the best character in the game, I think Nightwolf will be. He literally plays the exact same game plan Cassie Cage did last patch, who I thoroughly believed Cassie Cage was the best character in the game, and then they nerfed her, and then they were like, what if we just gave everything to Nightwolf, except we add instead of doing Cassie games instead of having a 9-frame mid. Okay, you lose that. Cassie Cage now loses her 9-frame mid, but now you get throw crushing blows off a throw loop. What the fuck? Like, that character is so bullshit. He literally can play the exact same game plan as Yas Queen Cassie. His damage output is fucking wild. His corner mutalist damage output is fucking wild. His auto shimmy game is safe and has a mind game by itself as well. His stagger game is fucking godlike. His projectile game is godlike, and then he has an overhead starter to top that all off when you're not looking for it. He's just a really fucking dumb character, and I think he's top 2 in my opinion, like straight up. And then we have Highborn Katana. I think Highborn Katana's pressure and damage output, granted, it's very lame. It's really cheap. Even though you play very one-sided with her, it's very, very strong. She's just like, she went. I definitely think her high point variation is just a superior variation. I don't blame you guys if you find it very fucking boring, but the damage output is really good, and her pressure and mind games on top of it get really obnoxious. It's really, really hard to deal with it. And then in the corner, you actually just fucking explode. If you get hit by her in Highborn in the corner, you will actually lose like 45% of your life, like for every touch. It's really fucked up, to be honest. And then when you do that paired with her throw loop in the corner and her other damage output and still like crushing blows, she's really, really solid all around now. Like really fucking good. It's so fucking dumb. And then we have, I'm gonna put Kung Lao here. The buff to Kung Lao's hat makes it so that the down 1 mind game is so much better in his favor. I actually now think the superior variation, like last patch it was Z hat, but now I thoroughly believe the superior variation of Kung Lao is Lotus Fist. And the reason being is that it makes all his footsie tools safe in that variation, which that was like the nice thing about it last patch, right? All his footsie tools are safe. But now he gets a down 1 mind game where if he does down 1 and you try to counterpoke with us anything and he does EX orbital hat, you will lose 35% of your life. It's really fucked up. And because of that, he can now play the mind game of doing down 1 orbital hat or down 1 throw, which he always has a godlike throw game, or down 1 forward 4 into or then delay orbital hat. It's really dumb. And then on top of all of that, he can double meter burn it so that it's even though it's minus and it's safe, he can now double meter burn it. So like even though he's -2, you're like, okay, I'm gonna take my turn, and then he double meter burns it, and then you get hit by the second one, and then you lose 35% of your life. He is a very his mind games are very irritating. He's a very cheap character because of it. I think he's incredibly strong and really dumb still. Um, let's see. I'm gonna put Baraka. Baraka's literally like, if you watch my last tier list, he's literally the exact same character. His damage output is fucking wild. He doesn't get touched. He has a good throw game, good shimmy game, good projectile game. Highest damage. He 2 touches you. He's still an all-around solid character. He's really strong, in my opinion. Still, and if you watch, like I said, he's literally just like he's Baraka. I think by design he'll never not be A plus. He's very fucking good. And then We have Ellen. Ellen's back. Ellen's in the business now. So Ellen's second variation got really fucking buffed. She can actually play neutral now. She can actually hit confirm safely, and she actually has fast buttons now. So because of that, literally all her problems pretty much disappeared. Like actually, like every single one of them, they pretty much fucking disappeared because she has faster buttons now, and she has a good counter poke mind game, and not because she has an 11 frame mid that you can easily hit confirm into supers and shit. Because of that, and her already godlike zoning, she can add on top of that. And on top of she has two crushing blows on her throws. She's a lot better and she's a lot scarier and she's in your face too. I think she's a very, very cheap character and I expect a lot of Frost to be used at higher level. I think she's really fucking good now. So she's really, really strong. And then we have Johnny Cage. And surprisingly, it's his showstopper variation. I believe his showstopper variation is not the superior one. The fact that he can get free unbreakable damage into side switches as well is really, really strong for his already Fitzy game. And they buffed it so that he can now do back 3-4 camera, which means, like, why the fuck would you ever want to use Nut Punch? Like, sure, you can get a restand off a Nut Punch, or I can take a guaranteed, like, 28% of your life and still keep you standing anyway. And literally, they just made the other variation, like, literally, like, what's the point when you have the fucking camera, right? And on top of that, he can get up to, when he has Fatal Blow ready, if you get hit by him, he can get up to 48% unbreakable damage in this variation if he has his sunglasses crushing blow ready and still keep his fatal blow. Every single time he touches you in this variation, you accept you're losing at least like 35 to 48% of unbreakable damage. It's really fucking dumb. Like really, really fucking dumb. When he whiff punishes you, like when he gets low life, he legit gets X Factor. That's why he's so dangerous. Just like in fucking MKX, when he's that low life, he gets X Factor. In this game, he's that low life, he gets X Factor. And he's back. Johnny Cage is back. He's really fucking dumb. His footsie tools are some of the best footsie tools in the entire game. His fucking projectile game is really dumb. It's just, and especially if you're a male character playing against him, his projectile game is fucking AIDS. This shit is, ugh. He's really, really, really strong character. Alright? And then, we have Aaron Black still. Aaron Black he did get nerfed. He did get nerfed quite a bit, actually. But I still believe his Barking Irons variation is very powerful, and I still believe his other variations is also extremely powerful. You just have to play a lot more meter dependent. You have to use meter to keep safety with him. But generally speaking, his game plan is the exact same, minus Scud Shot being way more unsafe. And that's pretty much it. Like, his game plan is the exact same. His damage output is, like, the exact same. And his, like, mind games and, like, Oki is, like, the exact same. The nerf to his Fatal Blow is fine. He can still, like, use it. Just can't be a fucking moron with it anymore. And, his fucking, like I said, his shimmy and throw loop game is really good. And to top that all off, his Barking Irons variation is actually mad useful now, too. So, I think both his variations are very strong. And he's also still an incredibly strong character as well. Alright? And then, we have Sub-Zero. Pretty much the same. I used to think he was bottom 5, but, like, it turns out, every Sub-Zero player that I've ever encountered in my entire life plays this character like dog shit. I finally played Foxy Grandpa to make me really realize the efficiency of his tools. Granted, I still don't think he's as strong as these other characters. Like, I'm half tempted to put him here. Like, I'm half tempted to put him at A. If you play a Sub-Zero that's competent at using his tools really well, I think he can be really strong. Because if you're like me who can react to the overhead, then it's fine. But if you're Foxy Grandpa who knows how to use the overhead in footsies, which I thoroughly believe that like that's how you should be using it, is in footsies, the range on his forward too is really fucking dumb. So if you know how to use it really solid like that and play that mind game around it, I think he's really, really strong. He could potentially go back up to A+ in my opinion. He's like in that buffer zone right here. He would be like right here, you know, in my opinion. He's like right there. So we'll leave him right there because there's so many characters in A+ in my opinion. And I do think he's very good. I do think these characters are a lot more solid because he still has that struggle. Still struggles a little bit up close in my opinion with the neutral game. But like I said, if you're Foxy, they'll make that character like really, really AIDS. All right. On top of that, if you're like me who can react to his overhead, every single Sub-Zero that lives and dies by his mix-ups literally like becomes redundant. Like not redundant, they become irrelevant. Like if you're like me who can react to his overhead and low, and Sub-Zero's like, do like back 1-2, well sorry, back 1-4, freeze, jump to overhead or low, and you react to it every time, you legit just like they don't exist. Like these kind of Sub-Zero players don't exist. But if you play Foxy, who knows how to be lame and use 4-2 and footsies, it can be really really tough to deal with. Then we have what? Okay, we have Kano. Kano's he's a lot stronger, but I still think he's only A tier. Um, I think Dirtbag is a lot better, especially with the unblockable setups and the change too. He can get really, really cheap if he gets going. I definitely think he's viable now, and you can actually use him in tournament. He's just a lot harder, a lot harder than these other characters. He's a little less solid because his core problem still exists of his strings by nature just aren't good. Like it's just as a base character, his strings aren't good. So by nature, the character's like okay, right? But in certain situations, he can be really, really annoying. He can start snowballing you if he really, really keeps going. Okay. Um, there's more characters coming in A plus. Devorah, I think she's A plus. Straight up, I think she's A plus now. And the reason being for that is that some of the discoveries I've made. Granted, I do think arachnophobia is much better. If we're only talking about arachnophobia, she would be here. But her buzzed variation, while I do think is the hardest character in the game to play, her buzzed variation is actually bullshit, considering they made a stealth change that when you do her meter burn bugs, the moment it lands on the ground, no matter what, it will come out. And because of that, if you take someone who has the mindset to play a setup character, like for example me, which I fucking main this character now, that's bullshit. Because you instantly know how to be oppressive with it. You can just like slow the game down so much if you know how to fucking use it. Like I said, I think she's the hardest character in the game. I think she's the most technical, and I think her arachnophobia variation is easier and much more beginner friendly for everybody. But if you want to really, really like use the tools that will make her oppressive at high level, you'll learn how to use Buzzed because the character is pretty fucking cheap. And then we have Scorpion. I'm gonna put him here. I'm like tempted to put him here as well, but like I'm not sure. I have to see more of him. I definitely think him getting nerfed with the high shoulder is like it's actually kind of huge. Like oh sorry, his teleport being a high is kind of huge to be honest. I mean a lot of his pressure and mind games that he used to have just don't exist. You can kind of just mash down one on him. So for now we'll put him here. For now we'll put him here. I do think he's still a very very strong character, and I do think that if you're playing very reactionary with him, he can still be just as efficient as he was before. But like a lot of his pressure did disappear because of it, of how his teleport works and the mind game behind it. Like you no longer have to guess. Like a lot of his strings where you had to guess if he was gonna teleport or not, you can now just mash every time. And if he does teleport, he accepts he's getting punished. So his mind games aren't as good anymore as they used to be, in my opinion. But I still think he's a very strong character. Jade, I think she's A plus, especially her jaded variation. I think her jaded variation is one of the most bullshit rushdown characters to exist in the game right now. I did not know that she can jail her running staff into a +3 nitro kick, and then she can just do it again. Her pressure is literally like how can I explain it? Her pressure is like fucking Mortal Kombat 9 Johnny Cage. She just does a fast ass mid into run cancel pressure. It's really fucking cheap. Like the mind games that she gets behind it is really really fucking cheap. I actually think her jaded variation is a superior variation of her too. Like that's the craziest part too, because now you have the option to elect to switch between a very very zony happy Jade, which was still A plus. Like even remember last year, as you saw her, I put her A plus. How zone heavy her Jade was. And hell, even a Jade made top 16 at EVO last year. This year too. Katana Prime being he upset mad people with this character, and I told everybody this character was bullshit, and everyone was like, no, she's not good. And then here, fucking Katana KP is literally one match away from making top 8 with her. Like character's bullshit. So I'm not knocking KP. I think he's the best Jade with a really good character. It's just like character's bullshit. She plays the game really fucking well, like really really fucking well. All right. And then the rest, I'm gonna put them in B tier. I think Collector's still the worst character in the game, and I think these characters are still like the worst characters in the game. I do think they're viable now. I definitely think they're viable. Oh, sorry, I forgot about Raiden. I think Raiden's here too. I think Raiden's right here. I think the buff to Raijin makes him a lot more dangerous. The fact that he can now actually like play that punish game of taking 15% off of you doing like almost like anything is really still good. Like it's really fucking good still. Like because he can still punish like most characters down once in this variation. And now because of how easy it is to get discharge going, like both the variations are still pretty good, especially the way Kombat's been playing it recently as well. Have how lame he can play with teleport, he can play the mind games behind it. Um, he can keep moving in and out really nicely, which is really good about him in my opinion. Um, he's very technical. I think he's one of the harder characters to play in this game too. I think he's incredibly technical, but if you can get him down as well, especially at high level play, his prevalence will come. When somebody learns how to punch every single move in the game when he's in discharge, you have to like change the way you approach even playing a character. His crushing blows are still good. Him having a launcher and the lameness in his variation is really good, and he's just all around an even better character. And like I said, I told you guys, there's gonna be like mad characters in A plus. Oh, Shang Tsung. I think Shang Tsung's A. I forgot Shang Tsung's not here. Shang Tsung I think is A. He got nerfed hella. Not only did they nerf the block stun on his skulls, they made him also do way less damage. I do think he's still a solid character, but he's not like A plus anymore. Like definitely not. I definitely did nerf astronomical. Even pre-patch, when I discovered how to fight him, I was like, this character's actually just alright. Like he's just alright. I think he's a good character, but like when you discover his auto shimmy's not that real and his pressure's not that real, you can actually just mash on him. He's too slow. He's just way too slow defensively. He's still a good character, don't get me wrong, he's still viable, but he's just slow. That's all. Um like I said, these characters, they got the buffs that they needed, but they're still like weak compared to everybody else. Like the collective buff on the launcher is nice, but like the issue is his neutral is weak. And so I do think the buffs in his spare change is the superior variation because he can melt you much faster, which is also really nice. But with that being said, he still has to hit you, and that's really hard for him to do that. So it's like whatever. I do think the down one change helped buff Kotal a lot, but he's still rather weak compared to the other characters. He's still solid. Like now they're viable. I think they're all viable. I think you can win a tournament with all these characters too. I just think it'll be harder. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any C tier characters anymore. I think there's B and up. They're all viable. It's just that you have to work really hard with these characters down here. And Shao Kahn, sure, he got that nice little like buff that he can do, but it's still like he's still on the weaker end. His flaws and his strings and his highs being really slow still make him very weak. He's pretty much like still the way he plays still the exact same character. Um, fuck, I'm gonna put Sub-Zero up here. I think he should be right there. I'll say he'll be at the very end of A plus. I think I'll put him right there, at the very end of A plus. But I think he'll be A plus. We'll put him there. And I think these characters are strong. I think Kano's stronger than these three characters. I think Scorpion's a little bit weaker, especially like the teleport nerf. Just also just mix the other variation. Like they didn't even touch the other variation of Scorpion, so he's just like he's actually just like it was just that variation was already ass, and then they just didn't touch it, and now he's just like whatever now. So. I think these are your top tiers. I think these are characters you're going to see a lot at high level still. I think you're going to see all these characters like a minimum in top 32s and shit. You'll still see some Scorpions. I don't think you'll really see these characters. You'll see some Sub-Zeros still come out of the life. You'll see Aaron Blacks. I think we'll see a lot more Frosts. I think we'll see a lot more Jades. I think we'll see a lot more Katanas. Um, I think we'll see a lot less Cassie Cages. We'll see how Jackie prevalence will be the same. Garris presence will be the same. Noob Saibot, I think we'll see a little bit more of him. I think we'll see a little bit more Kung Lao. Baraka presence will be the same. I think we'll see people trying out Johnny Cage. I don't expect to see much of her because I think she's a very hard character, but I could be wrong. I also don't expect to see much of Scarlet as well because she's also a pretty technical character as well, and she's also just rather boring to play. But I expect to see a lot of these characters over the days to come. And yeah, with that being said, this is SonicFox's Mortal Kombat 11 tier list. Thanks for watching.